Hey everybody, my name is Rachel and I'm one of the owners here at Teeny Pups. And I thought since everyone's stuck at home, kids don't have much to do, there's no field trips, which really sucks, thought that we would do a little informational about Teeny Pups and what we are and how we started, and do some shop tours and show you around. So Teeny Pups was started by my dad, Ted Devine, in the late 90s, and we build positive displacement fluid pumps, and I would challenge you to Google that and figure out what it is, kids, if you don't know, and then let me know if you figure it out. So he was a truck driver and he hauled oil, and there was a real lack of what he felt was like an efficient pump. He wanted to be able to rebuild the pumps. He didn't like that he had to throw them away and replace them every 2 weeks. They leaked. There was just a lot of things that needed fixing, and the bigger companies just weren't willing to do that. They didn't care. They didn't care about truckers. They didn't care about any of it. So he decided that he was going to build his own, which was kind of a big deal when we look back on it. I'm not sure we felt that way then, but definitely when we look back at it and look at what it's become, it definitely is. So he was kind of a leader in making a pump that sealed and that worked really efficiently. Back in the day, they just used to throw a drip pan under the pump and they'd pump away and it would drip and they'd dump it out and whatever, they moved on. But that was important to him because environmental awareness was becoming more prevalent in the oil field at that time. And so we were really the first ones to be able to provide that. We also provided a pump that could be repaired, so truckers could take it apart and fix it themselves if they chose to do so, or we could fix it for them. And that was a big thing because it eliminated a lot of the waste. A little tidbit of information that I feel like is really important is a little bit about Ted. So Ted was born in southern Saskatchewan on a land formation called the Bench, and it was a big valley and it was flat. And when we were kids, we knew, but we didn't know that he walked to school with honey pails on his feet, you know, a mile both ways, uphill both ways. There was probably always 7 feet of snow. He was that kind of guy. He always liked to tell a story. He started school when he was 4. He was born in October. And the country school that served their community was going to close because there wasn't enough numbers. So his mom sent him to school. And it was a mistake because he wasn't old enough. And he hated it. And he hated it until he quit when he was 16. At which point he went to work. He worked in mines. He worked for all sorts of things until he came to a gentleman named Serge. And Serge had a lot of good advice for him, and he got him into the oil field, and that's how he came to Alberta. He met my mom in concert when he was working on the rigs here, and they got married, and they moved to an oil battery where he operated wells, and then he started in vacuum trucks doing septic tanks, and then he got into the infield hauling because oil kind of started to boom in the 80s. He was a high school dropout, and there's a lot of people who would not touch our product because he didn't have an engineering degree, he didn't have a university degree, he hadn't been to college, he hadn't even graduated from high school, and he was a lowly trucker. And then we became what we are today, and it's a lot to be proud of. And I'm not sure that he ever really realized sort of the capacity that he had for that type of thing, but if there was something that needed to be moved, he could do it with levers and fulcrums. He was that guy. He really could make things happen, and he did that with Teeny Pumps. And if you struggle in school, if you're one of those kids that struggles in school, we have a kid that struggles in school and it's hard for him, you need to know that you can do anything that you set your mind to, and you can be successful, and you will be successful. And Ted would be the first one to tell you that, or I guess I'll do that on his behalf. But this is why we have the Equal Opportunity Award with the concert school, because we think that anyone can succeed if you set your mind to it. So we're going to move on with some shop tours. Might not be today, but it'll be soon. Look forward to seeing you again. If you have any questions, just comment or whatever below, and I'll try to answer them as best I can. Or maybe you want to see something specific, we'll work on that for you too. Bye.